The information contained within this video could potentially save a life. So when I flash this screen, if you know what this is and it brings warnings or memories or feelings, I understand. But for those of you who don't know what this is, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to stay tuned. Because the information that I'm about to share with you could potentially save somebody's life. Now, we're not going to be talking about coins, collecting. I'm not going to show you any cool pieces today. We're going to be talking about something way more important. And that is one of our nation's greatest resources. Our military members, our veterans, and our first responders. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've experienced traumatic events, if you have been in a situation where you have had some sort of mental anguish, if you suffer from mental disease, if you were a military service member and you went overseas and you saw things and you came back a different person and you question where you're at, what you're doing, am I valuable? Am I worth it? Are these things something that I want to continue? I want you to stop for just a moment. Now, I'm going to be sharing a series of videos. And these videos are going to talk about these very things. I'm going to ask you to listen to them. Stay tuned, because I'm going to share information. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the history of 988. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that you can do, either as a person who's going through it, or as a person who knows somebody, a friend, a family member, or just a concerned citizen. Now, this isn't solely about the military veteran. This isn't solely about the first responders. This isn't solely for English-speaking representatives. This is for everybody. If you're in the U.S. and you have suicidal thoughts, you need to know this, because you're not alone. Watch this. When it's done, I'll be back.
Life is full of bittersweet transitions. It's difficult to know how these changes will impact us over time. They can hit harder than expected and may contribute to feelings of hopelessness.
You good, sir?
Or even thoughts of suicide.
We got this.
Support from friends and family can make a big difference to a veteran going through a difficult time.
We've got this, Dad.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
I got this.
Together, our actions could help save a life. Learn more at veteranscrisisline.net.
What's important to understand is that friends and family play a major role in this endeavor. I'm going to tell you a story. And the situation was just a normal day. It was a day in which I was just going to go grab some coffee. And I went to the coffee shop. And as I was walking to the coffee shop, I saw this lady, and she kind of had her head down. And I wasn't exactly sure what was going on, but I don't like seeing people kind of low and depressed. And so I stopped her and I was like, "Oh my God, how are you doing? I haven't seen you for a while." She looked at me like, "Do I know you?" And I was like, "I saw you over by the gate. Did you see when the guy, he poured gas and I guess he lit a cigarette and caught his arm on fire?" And she was like, "Oh my God, no, I didn't hear about this." And I said, "They arrested him because he was waving a firearm on base." And she looked at me and she smiled and she's like, "Oh my God. Seriously?" And I was like, "I hope you have a good day." And I walked off. I grabbed my coffee and I went back to work. About 20 minutes later, my superintendent came over and he said, "Hey, we need to talk." I was like, okay, not a big deal. I haven't done anything. And we walked into the office. We see our COO. And I see my superintendent. And I see this lady. And I'm thinking, oh, crap. I've offended her. I've done something bad. Here we go. And she looked at me. She had tears running down her eyes. And she says, I was on my way to my car. And she had pills on the table. She's like, I was going to end it. I was done. There's nothing I had left. I just made her think for just a moment. And in that brief moment, call it divine providence, call it luck, call it whatever the hell you want to call it. They gave a person a moment to go seek help. Now, for years, the National Institute of Mental Illness had created a crisis line. And this crisis line allowed people to do that very thing. To take a moment, and when somebody was down and they weren't sure whether they wanted to do something or not, they had a telephone number that you could call, 800-273-TALK. Call this number. And they had people standing by. But the problem is that a 10-digit number is not always easy to remember. It isn't something that I keep in my mind. Now, I remember it because I've been looking and understanding and trying to research and really provide all the information I can to help people understand the situation that's here. Give people the tools to perhaps change somebody else's life. To prevent what is the grotesque loss of life in somebody ending their own. And what they decided to do is to make it a little bit easier. Congress and the FCC got together and they passed the National Suicide Hotline Designation Act. If you want to look up the law itself, it's Public Law number 116-172. And what it did is it mandated the number 988 as the national number for the suicide prevention hotline. Now, that happened July 2022. And it is active and current today. So when I say this is an extremely important number, this is a number that everybody needs to commit to memory. We're familiar with 911. 911 is the call of emergency. But 988 is a call for help. However, and whatever you got to do to remember it, remember that this is an extremely important number. Now, there's a couple things about this number. I know that within our coin community and stacking community, within the people who do metal detecting and salvaging, within the people who do metal pouring, we have a very tight-knit community. And I know, personally, a number of veterans who have dealt with substance abuse issues, who have dealt with suicidal ideation, who deal with mental health issues, deal with things like PTSD or traumatic events. I know women in our community who have had to deal with being raped or molested. I know men who have been abused, beaten by fathers, uncles, chastised for who they were. I know people who have made choices about their lives, or people who have biologic issues where they don't feel it's a choice. They get reprimanded, belittled, and criticized on the daily. If you're struggling with any kind of feeling of worthlessness or hopelessness, there's help, and you're not alone. I don't want anybody in this community, I don't want anybody who sees this video to leave here today thinking that there's nothing anybody can do for them. There are people who care for you. There are people who love you. And one of the most important things that we can do is have family and friends who will come alongside of us, support us in this time. Many people may not have family, or maybe many people may not feel like they have family that they can turn to. Watch this quick video and we'll come back.
Nothing hurts my mom, but she showed anyway. She'd always say, you do what you need to do to take care of yourself. But she thought that meant she had to do it on her own. We were trained to help others, but there's strength in finding help for yourself too. We're in this together. Even the toughest of us might not know where to go to get a little support.
Encourage women who have served to learn more about the VA care and benefits they've earned. The VA Women Veterans Call Center connects veterans with personalized information on VA services that can make a difference. Call 1-855-VA-WOMEN or visit www.womenshealth.va.gov.
Wartime trauma. Battles with abuse. These are not things just for a man. Many women have undergone struggles. And ladies, there are some of us guys who do care. Not all guys are creeps. But sometimes it's hard to identify good people in the community. Those people who want to help you, or those people who want to take advantage of the situation that you're in. But there are telephone lines, just like the one that I showed, that are available to people who have nothing but good intent. Now, I know that I've just shown information regarding two VA specific entities. But the VA, the Veterans Association, is not the only one that performs these services. There are other national level service providers, service groups, and agencies that have some wonderful programs. Two of them that I'm familiar with are NAMI, the National Association for Mental Illness. And they're the ones that, along with Congress, really worked to get information changed. And they are constantly trying to increase resources and access to all parts of people who experience crisis in their lives. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Agency, or SAMHSA, is another entity that works to help community members across the United States. But one set of people who deal with this, and a lot of people don't realize the trauma and the chaos that they deal with day to day, are our first responders. Our first responders not only have to deal with the repercussions and the aftermath when a life-ending event happens, accidents, fires, an act of violence against another person, a mass shooting, an active shooter incident, you name it. The paramedics, the doctors at the hospitals, those trauma folks, the counselors, they all experience these issues day in and day out. And after a while, they can be traumatic. They can weigh heavy. And you're not alone. There are programs that offer specific assistance to first responders. NAMI helps with training along with Mental Health America. Mental Health America provides an additional lifeline. Again, memorize this number. It's extremely important. Now, I will be very upfront with you. I am not a mental health provider. I am not a medical doctor. I am not a first responder, but I am a veteran. I am a disabled veteran. I suffered injury during my service in the United States Navy. And the issues that I have, they don't appear to be physical. Most of my issues are internal. I suffered some lung issues while serving in a shipyard in Hawaii. Now, I love my brothers and sisters who serve for the nation, who defend us, who give up their liberties, to safeguard us. For the veterans who came before me, for the veterans who allowed me the opportunity to continue the work of defending our nation, and for those first responders who do it day in and day out, in many cases a very thankless job. My heart goes out to you because I understand some of the struggle that you deal with. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Frostbite. I have one more video for you. I really want you to remember this number. 911 is an emergency, but 988 is a call for help. I'm going to show you this last video. And this last video is about making the call. Watch this. I'll wrap up.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
If you're struggling, make the call. If you know somebody who's struggling, make the call with them. Let them know that they're not alone. If you're in the community and you're having a hard time, let us know. We'll do what we can to help. Now, again, I'm not a licensed psychologist, and I can't give you all the answers, but you know what? I can point you to some people who are. 988. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for watching the video. Share it out, share it widely. Be well, be blessed, and I'll see you in the streams.